How's your makeup, your hair,
Oh,
everything done? Okay,
I'm
good.
not even getting hair. So if you noticed, I'm dressed for riding, and I'm glad you went and got your helmet on, because when you lunge, you always want to wear a helmet, you want to be wearing boots and gloves. Okay, so 3 safety things for lunging: helmet, boots, and gloves.
Just like you're going to ride.
Exactly. And even more important, I mean, sometimes you can ride without gloves on, but lunging, you always want to wear gloves so you don't get rope burns, because they can pull pretty hard sometimes. The other thing is you want to lunge in a closed enclosure. So we can use a round pin, you can use the arena. You just don't want, especially when you're starting out, to be lunging out in the open where the horse can get away. Yeah, because then you can be causing problems for somebody else. Okay, it can be real dangerous. So it's just safer to lunge in an enclosure.
Right.
So we've got a nice round pin to use. We'll use that. If I was to use the arena, I would use a corner of the arena, because then I would have 2 sides to work him in, rather than just open free space.
Now this time you put, I'm just doing this for the video thing, we're putting the lunge rope through the bit.
On the near side, on the side that I'm going to lunge from.
On the side you're going to lunge from, so he's going to go
he's going to track to the left.
Track to the left, right.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, excuse me, and then we put it over the top of the pole, then down to the other bit.
Yep. And this is in effect a gag bit, which makes it real severe if you're rough with your hands. But it gives you good control. So if I had a horse, especially that I didn't know, I would use this setup to start with, because then I would know I've got fairly good control. The horse is going to want to run or buck or pull on me. Other times when I'm lunging for other reasons, I could either just go behind the chin, or I could just even hook to the halter. Just depends on the horse. But if I was ever to start with a horse I didn't know, this is the getup I would use.
Now, the one time out at San Domenico I saw it, they had the bridle, they had the reins on. You right with me? And then they wove the reins and put it like under the halter, something like that? Okay.
And if, excuse me, our bridles, we have reins that come off easily because of being therapeutic riding.
Right.
And so it's just easier to take them off. However, if I was lunging a rider, I definitely have to have the reins on. Or if I had a bridle where it's just hard to take the reins off.
Yeah, a lot of times some of those reins are like more permanent.
Exactly.
That's
and
what
so then you want to wrap up the reins and make sure that they don't get in the way.
Gotcha.
But if it's easier to take them off and I'm not going to put a rider on them, then just take them off. Okay? So just very basic equipment. There's different reasons to lunge a horse, for training, for interactive vaulting, for all kinds of stuff. Today, the purpose of lunging him is to exercise, a little bit of training, so that's going to be his obedience. He's going to be working on obedience. And also because he was lame for a while, we're just going to watch how he goes.
Okay.
And so for that reason, we don't have a surcingle, side reins. We don't have anything that's going to inhibit his movement. He is pretty much free to move, use his head however he wants.
The surcingle is what I call a fake saddle.
Yeah, it's just a wide strap that goes here, like a girth.
Right.
And then it's got rings on it, so you can attach side reins that go to the bit that help the horse learn to round up and carry himself better. It's more advanced lunging, and you need to be good at lunging before you ever use side reins, because if the horse goes to buck, puts his head down, or you don't adjust them correctly, the horse can throw himself, you can have a really big wreck. So you don't want to use side reins unless you really know what you're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the other thing is, just like riding, you don't want to come out and lunge by yourself. You always want to have somebody else with you whenever you're working with horses. So lunging can be very dangerous. You really have to pay attention, and when you're riding, of course, the biggest dangers are from falling off. Lunging, the biggest danger is from getting kicked. So, hence the helmet. And you just need to always be watching the horse, reading their body language, staying out of range. Pepe's never tried to kick, but you just want to always be watching for that. If he bucks and kicks, am I within reach?
Gotcha.
Okay? So, I'm going to let you stand over by the gate, and we're going to start out over here just walking. And I'm actually, since he hasn't been lunged in a while, I'm going to start out with what's called parallel leading. So I'm just leading him, and I'm going to switch back here and try to get him to walk a little bit further away from me. Walk on, walk on. And like I told you, Pepe's problem is to want to come in.
Right.
Walk on. Walk on. So trying to get him out. Walk on, Pepe. Is really a problem. Walk on. I know. Good boy. Good boy. Walk on. So you want to form a triangle? Walk on. Switch on. whip is used to give him signals to tell him what I want him to do. For a horse that's very sensitive, all you have to do is kind of run the lash out towards them, walk on, and they move on. Pepe is kind of a dull horse. Takes a lot to get him going and get him moving. Good boy, Pepe. So I'm making sure that the lunge line doesn't drop at my feet, doesn't get tangled. I don't have any, walk on. I don't have any loops around my hand.
Right, so if you have to, you can bail, in other words, right?
Absolutely. Lunge lines come with a loop on the end of them, and you shouldn't use it. You shouldn't put your hand in the loop.
Right.
Good boy, Pepe. Walk on. So my body language right now is pretty unaggressive. I'm walking slowly, and we're just relaxing and warming up. And I'm watching his responses to me, and then I change my body language depending on what he needed. If the horse was a lot more flighty and running, I would drop his whip way back. I would kind of loop a little bit, make sure that I was that I was in a non-aggressive posture. But since Pepe's very calm, I have to stay a little more aggressive with him. Good boy, walk on. Good boy. So I don't take my eyes off him. I'm watching him all the time. I'm watching his ears, his whole posture, so that I'm reading what he wants to do. Good boy.
What would be a signal that he's not a happy camper?
He would raise his head, prick his ears if he was nervous or afraid. He would pin his ears if he was mad. Walk on. Walk on. Good boy. He would turn like he's going to turn and go to the inside. And if you're slow to react and he turns to go the other way, then it's real hard to catch him. You have to be able to catch him right away if they think about turning, so you can get behind them and drive them forward a bit. Good boy.
Here, baby.
And trot. Trot. Good boy. So I'm watching for unequal movement. It's a little hard to see because he's in a circle anyway.
Right.
But not real consistently.
Starting to canter on you a little bit, huh? Hey, baby. Now, is that stumbling a couple of times perhaps part of his problem?
Walk on. I don't think so. He's
Okay.
always done that.
Okay.
The sand's a little deep here.
Yeah.
Pepe is not very coordinated. So I think he's just tripping on the deep sand.
Gotcha.
Walk on. Walk on. Good boy. So normally, just like when you ride, you warm up at a walk, and then a trot, and then a canter. Working in a small circle like this is really hard on a horse's joints and legs. And walk on. So you don't want to do it very long.
Okay.
And I'm not going to have him canter in here, just because we don't want to strain. You know, he's out of stage and we don't want to strain anything.
Gotcha.
Julie, did you see him moving?
I didn't. I'd like to see. Is it okay for Hank to be standing there? You're not worried about Pepe kicking out?
I think it's okay. Okay. Walk on.
Yes, he's up his butt.
I wondered the same thing, Julie.